Okay, welcome everybody. Today, I recorded a live trade, which is going to follow this segment, but I kind of wanted to put this before the live trade to introduce the future of MBoxWave. So, with the release of some of these new indicators, I'll talk about it briefly now. I'll show how it all works in the live trade video that I recorded. So the MBoxWave 3.0 is a pretty significant release, right? It marks the beginning of a couple new indicators. We got XPace, which replaces the MPace, and then the XKontrol, which is really powerful, which shows who's in control visually on the chart. That's a very advanced algorithm that took me a long time to write, and that's why I haven't been doing live trade videos, because any free time I had, I was either programming or researching or trading to test these algorithms before releasing them. And so far, there's been tremendous amount of good feedback. People really love the XKontrol, and so I'm really pleased about that. And also, there's the MBox Precision Delta, which is also a major feature. It affects pretty much all the indicators that use Delta. It's a replacement of the native Delta algorithm. So it uses some more smart way of reading the incoming, buying and the selling, and figuring out, the supply and the demand. And it basically paints a clearer picture of the order flow. Um, and, I'll show that in practice. And now I'm using just one number instead. Before I used to look at volume and delta volume. Now I'm just using the MBox Precision Delta because it replaces the need to use both. And I'll in the live trade video I talk about it. So it's a major feature, and all these new things are really great. And so I just wanted to get it out there. Right now, just as a forward, the MBoxWave 3.0 is available right now just for Sierra Chart and NinjaTrader. The other platforms, when I get the time, I'll get to it. It just takes a lot of effort. So that's it. So next clip, you'll see the live trade video. Welcome, everybody. This is Mike from MBoxWave.com. I just got into a short position on the E-mini NASDAQ. Normally I trade mornings, but I was quite busy, and so I got to the computer a bit later. So I'm trading the, sort of a little bit before lunch session here, 11, 11:23. Yeah. So anyway, it's been a while since I, recorded a live trade, because I've been working on other indicators, new indicators and features. And anyway, I'm excited to get back to doing this, and I want to see the result of this trade as well. So I want to go through the analysis, but looked like a fairly strong setup to me. So I'll go through the analysis using the new indicators and how I'm reading them, and then we'll see what happens. So I just got in here at this entry point. There's a lot of things going on here. All right, so these dots here, and they vary in size, show who's in control, the buyers or the sellers, and they show the speed of the tape. So the larger the dot here, the stronger that speed of the tape is for the offers or the bids, right? So at this point right here, we had this big, large, dot here, which shows there's three different sizes of these dots, right? There's the smallest one, example right here. That shows initial control, all right? A medium-sized dot like right here or right here shows strong control, and the big ones show total control. So I prefer seeing when, one side is dominating the other side. And that's what we have here. So there's a lot of things going on at this point. So we had the total control here. And I'm going to start marking up the charts. And as you can see, we have repetitive total control. We had total control up here, and then total control here. So the fact we didn't see any strong control on the side of the offers after this one right here is a good sign, right? So let's get into it. Total, we'll call it bid control. Total bid control. And that's happening here and here. We also have a double algo right here, the upthrust and the stooges. Upthrust, stooges. Okay. That's good. So, what else do we have? So the market's opened around here. So there's quite a bit of demand here. And we see that the demand diminishes here, the overall. So this is M delta needs to be read as overall accumulation, distribution, or overall supply and demand. So the overall demand has diminished. So overall demand diminished. All right. And you can see that the in the MBox delta, it's just yeah, sure, we didn't see much supply, but here we saw a sign of supply. So that's the basis for the trade I'm in right now. Is we see the finally supply comes in. So throughout the day we'd been dominated by demand, and here at this point, I would say to me it looks like a change of behavior. So here the MBox delta selling comes in. I want to explain some of these new terms or new ways that I'm going to be looking at the indicators, and I'm going to get into that, but I want to mark the chart first because I'm using the new algorithms for the precision delta and the XPace and XKontrol. There's a few different ways I'm using the terminology. It's similar to what I used before, but I have been able to define things more clearly going forward. And I probably should do a webinar about that, but looks like I'm going to be talking about it during this trade. So it looks like we're in good shape. We're ready to grand in profits. We got a potential sell imbalance here, which is good. All right. So what else do we see? So we see that the bids, the pace of the bids takes control. So the bids outpace offers. So the XPace shows the histogram similar to MPace, but now it filters stuff out, like you see empty spaces here because not all of it is important, and the algorithm has been updated as well. So we see that the bids outpace the offers, and visually, bam, we see that nice dot here. Okay. Now somebody's going to ask, well, what about here? Yeah, the bids are outpacing, but this ends up being climactic, right? We didn't know it when it happens, but when you look at offers take control here, we can see that this was climactic. So you need to, see which side of the fence we're on. Is it climactic or does it look like it's the beginning of a movement, right? So that's what I'm getting at. Here we see wave supply. So 149. Okay, so if anybody else has noticed, I took total volume off of this chart, okay, because the precision delta here is one number, all right, and also, you know, the numbers are more tidy. It doesn't matter if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, 1-hour chart. There's no need to use divisors anymore. Okay, so for example, you know, if we go to even like a 1-hour chart, okay, the numbers are nice and tidy, right? There's no need to use divisors anymore because this is the MBox precision delta. All right, let's get back into it. All right, so at this point, see here, it looked like we had demand 253 goes to 224. So we have a higher high, less demand. That's a divergence. Higher high, less demand. So that's the thing with precision delta. It's going to make reading these waves a lot easier for everybody and making sense out of them. Okay. And, you know, what do we have here as well? 48 to 28. It's the same thing. We have higher high, less demand here. And it's in line because we have the supply, wave supply here, MBox delta selling here. Okay. The cumulative delta didn't show major supply, but it did show the crossover with the XPace here. So we do rack. Oh wow, look at this. We've got looks like another total control dot here is forming. You see all these red dots here? That's a good sign, right? So before we didn't have that, but the red dots are an interpretation of the pace. All right, if this candle doesn't reverse, I guess. Got 8 seconds left. Okay, it looks like it's coming down. So look at that. I mean, since this movement started, we've had like, see, these tiny green dots showing, you know, initial offer control, but no follow through. So we had 1, 2, 3, 3 total control, XKontrol dots come in. So that's another one here. It's getting kind of messy with all these arrows, but you know, whatever. All right, so I mean, there are things. Oh, wow, we're really coming down. There are more things I want to talk about, but if we count the points of confluence here, you know, we've got the double algo, that's 2. Look, we've got 3 total control dots. Well, at the time trade, there was 2. So that's another 2 points. That's 4 points. We see this wave supply 5 points, higher high, less demand 6 points. We see another higher high, less demand 7 points. We see a retraction of MBox delta right here. That's 8 points. MBox selling comes in 9 points. Overall diminished demand 10 points. Bids outpace the offers 11 points. All right. So at this point, we're just going to wait to see what happens. So far, the situation looks good. You know, the buying, you know, it looks like it's getting less. Yeah, we're not seeing huge here boxes in the histogram, but you know, we see that the bids are still in control. So I'm still, you know, holding on this position. And then we'll see what happens. So while we wait, instead of pausing the video, maybe I'll just talk about how I read the analysis now. You know, so these numbers to me are now very clear with the MBox precision delta, much more clear than the native delta. Like here you have 634, higher high, less demand. Okay, less demand accompanied with less buying. So these numbers I look at like demand, the MBox histogram, I call it the MBox delta, I look as buying and selling, and the cumulative delta I look at as accumulation, distribution, or overall supply and demand. And this is important because this is going to make life a lot easier to decode what the waves are doing. Okay. So, for example, for like when we hit this point, right? So look at this supply here. Got minus 252 and then minus 224. Okay. But I'm looking at the MBox delta here, and where's the supply? I mean the selling. So technically we have supply here and no selling. Okay, so that's a divergence, and then price reverses. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. So these numbers I'm looking at like supply and demand. This is the actual buying and selling. So we still got a good amount of supply, but nobody is selling. It means nobody is interested in that product, right? Supply and demand is a product. Now I'll be talking about this in the future if it doesn't completely make sense now. All right. Here you got the minus 149, so you got supply and you've got selling. That's good. You know, those go hand in hand. All right. Oh, wow, we're really coming down here. Over 15 grand in profits. I guess we'll see what's up with that. Anyway, so this minus 86 here, that can be seen as effort, no result, because you had, you know, more supply here and no new low. We had minus 74, so comparing this wave, and this wave is shorter than this one, this is an effort, no result situation. All right. So I'm just trying to explain how I'm reading these waves. Right? So here you had the minus 48 and then minus 252. So that supply came in along with selling. Okay, so you wouldn't take this wave seriously, you know, to short because, you know, it's weak and then you don't see any selling here. So not much supply, no selling. That's not a short position. Here you see supply and you see selling came in. You could consider a short position. All right. You know, conversely here, you know, you go 224. At this 224, there's no selling like I was showing here, right? At the 252, we had this selling. At the minus 224, no selling. All right. So, you know, that's what I'm looking at now. And so this minus 149, this minus 174, a lot of supply, a lot of supply. So there is reason for the price to continue going down, right? So, you know, someone can say, well, isn't this effort no result? Well, for it to be effort no result, you have to see what actually happens. You have to look at the follow through, right? So the follow through is you got a sell imbalance here, minus 20, which doesn't look bullish at all. And price continues down, and you've got another total control dot here. All right. So this is, you know, wave supply and can be seen as distribution. So there's a lot of these terms that I'm using, and I've used a lot of them before, but I'm really starting to define them a lot more concretely. And perhaps this will make it into some written material later. All right, so it looks like we're having some correction here. I guess we're not hitting that take profit. We've got the, you know, the overall supply has increased, so that's good. Look at the pace. We're still in control. Looks like we've got this sell imbalance here. I mean, overall looks bearish to me, and I like this. This is renewed supply came in right here. So renewed MBox supply. Yeah, I really should call it selling since this is the supply in the numbers here. I should delete it and rewrite it. I don't want to confuse you guys. All right, so this MBox selling renewed. All right. So I guess normally I don't spend so much time talking during these videos, but there's just a lot I want to cover. So look at that minus 350. That really shows really strong supply, right? We went 149 minus 350. It shows it's expanding. And guess what? It's accompanied with selling, and it's accompanied with distribution, and it's accompanied with the bids outpacing the offers. Okay? So everything is pointing in our direction that, of course, the market can, do sporadic things and choose to reverse. But currently, the technical analysis points to a very bearish situation. So I still feel pretty confident that, about my take profit level here. So I guess we gotta still wait. Looks like there may be a triple algo forming here. But careful, some people like to trade only triple algos. And I want to say, well, look at where price is. So here, this is a major level of support, right? So if this triple algorithm plays out, we break through this support. You got to see, what the order flow is telling us at that point. Okay, so before people get overly excited about this triple algo, you got to see that is entering an area of a lot of support here. So those things you always have to consider. Support resistance where price was. But for the time being, I like this triple algo because to me it looks like we're going to hit the take profit. So okay, I guess I'll put the video on pause. I talked a lot, and I guess we'll see what happens here. So we'll come back. Okay, so hit the take profit. Look at this. We got another total control dot here, but gotta watch this level of support to see if it's gonna follow through or if it's gonna be climactic. But anyway, I'm done trading, so I don't need to think about it. I turned on the order fills, got in here, got out here, just shy of 19,000 in profits. So very, very happy with this trade. For me, this was a relatively easy read. Everything lined up. The analysis was pretty clear to me. And so that's what the deal is with the MBoxWave 3.0 and the Precision Delta. So the Precision Delta, it is used for these numbers in the Gann swing. And you can use also the M-Wave chart. It's also in there. The MBox Precision Delta is also in the histogram, the MBox histogram. It's also in the MQ Delta. So it's a brand new way of calculating delta, right? And I consider it to give a clearer reading of the order flow, because in the markets there's a lot of manipulation, and the manipulators like to manipulate volume, the bid, the ask, all that stuff. Anyways, so I'll be talking about these concepts a lot more in the future, and at some point I will be doing a webinar about the MBoxWave 3.0. It is available for currently Sierra Chart and NinjaTrader users. I'll try to get to the other platforms a bit later. It's just been a lot of work. These last few months have taken a huge toll on my time and on me to get these new developments out. But I'm very pleased with the result. I've been getting a lot of good feedback about it as well. Anyway, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time.